I'm sure a lot of you have heard that field inspectors work long hours and they work very hard. Right now I'm going to give you some reasons as to why field inspectors work as hard as they do. Number one is that most field inspectors already know that the more inspections you do, the more money that you make. And the more money you make, the quicker you are to pay off bills, be able to store money in the savings accounts, for investing, whatever you may be trying to do with your income. Another reason why inspectors work so hard and pull these long hours is because they are trying to satisfy the actual company that they're working for. They're trying to stay in this company's good graces, so to speak. The more work you do, the more inspections that you turn in, and they're all completed and everything is there and all the details have been met, they feel like that is going to be an up for them when it comes to the actual company, because that means that the company is going to give them more work and they'll never have to worry about their workflow being low, because they have deemed themselves as one of the top inspectors for that actual company. And another reason why inspectors work so hard is because they are always in fear of losing their contracts. If you don't work hard, you may lose your contract. And it's not all about just losing the contract because you're not busting your butt. That is not it at all. It's about just being professional, being proficient, doing things in a timely manner so that you don't end up with low work because they're passing the work on to other inspectors who happens to be moving faster than you. So because they're moving faster than you, of course they're going to receive more workload, especially if you live in an area like where I live, where the work is fluent. You know that they are always in need of inspectors. So if they're in need of inspectors and you are pussyfooting around, even if your work is good, the work that you do turn in, if you don't do it as quickly as they would like you to, there's a good chance that they are going to be passing the work on to people who they know move and work faster than you. So that's one reason why we work fast, or why we work hard, and why we pull long hours, because we are trying to actually make sure that we don't get pushed to the bottom of the barrel. And one of those main reasons why people work as hard as they do is because they have all of these extra contracts. You got contracts for several different companies. And of course, that is something that we all tell you when you first start off anyway, is to gain you a lot of contracts, because some companies are going to give you work fluently, some companies are not. Some will put you on their roster and say, sure, we need inspectors, and sign you up when they know that they probably won't have any work for probably months in your area. So you want to sign up for a lot. But what happens when you sign up for several companies and all of the companies are giving you work? Then you end up with a lot of workload, and you will work yourself to death. And let's say, for instance, if you are just coming out of a job, you just left a 9-to-5, or you were laid off, or whatever your issue may be. If you start off doing inspections, then of course you're going to pull a lot of workload. Of course you're going to try to, at least for those of you who are lucky enough to have the work, you're going to pull a lot of it, because you're trying to make up for all of that unpaid time. All of the time that you were sitting around looking for work and needing some work and needing something to make sure that all of your bills are paid and your kids are taken care of and there's food on your table, your rent is paid, your insurance is covered. Y'all get what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. These things will push you to work that hard. But I want to give you some reasons as to why I think that you should not be trying to work yourself into the ground. Because the money sounds good and all, of course it does. Of course it does. You have the opportunity to make as much as you want. There's no cap when it comes to your income, as it is at a 9-to-5 job. Most of the time, there will be some sort of cap there. They're going to pay you a certain amount of money, and when you make that certain amount of money, after you get up to a certain limit, you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, at least some of you do. I worked a job where there was a cap, and it started off way below the cap off. But they gave us a raise every quarter. So the money was steady getting higher and higher. And at first it felt good, because, you know, a lot of us, we're brainwashed, so we don't know any different. We don't know the difference in what's happening. But then as soon as that cap off was reached and there was no more raises, that's when it really hit me. Oh, okay. So no matter how long I work for you, if I work for you for the next 10, 15, 20 years, I get no more raise unless, of course, there's an annual raise. And you guys already know that most of the time these annual raises, at the percentage that they give you, if you get a quarter, you've gotten lucky. If you get a quarter, you've gotten lucky. And if you do the math on that quarter, what, by the end of a 1 week pay period or a 2 week pay period it is, what is it, an extra $20? And is that adding up? No, because don't forget, them folks is coming after you with tax time anyway. Which brings me to my reason as to why you shouldn't work yourself to death. The more money you're making out here on these streets and pulling in on these inspections, the more tax money you are going to have to pay at the end of the year. A lot of people have not gotten to the point to where they can make sure that they are monitoring the money that's spent versus the money that's coming in. You see, when you work a 9 to 5, it's different. When you work a 9 to 5, they take your taxes out of your check. So it is what it is on that point. And a lot of us still ended up having to pay tax back anyway at the end of the year, even after that. When they're taking your money out of your check, you are still needing every dime, even that, to get all of your bills paid, most of us anyway. So imagine if no one is taking your taxes out at all, and it's completely up to you, and you're getting every dime coming into your pocket. You get to make a choice whether you're going to spend it and pay your bills, go have fun, go on vacation, spend time away, whatever you're doing. And not once all year are you just constantly thinking about, I need to save this much and this much and this much for taxes. And trust me, it's extremely hard. And I know from experience my own self, it's extremely hard to do that because you're looking at it sitting there and you know it's for taxes. So the harder you work yourself, the more money you're going to have to pay towards your taxes. Work-life balance. Working hard all day, all night, working all over your weekends, it leaves no time for family. You will work yourself so much trying to make as much money as you can until you have no time for your family. You have no time for yourself, for those of you who don't even care much to do that. But you do want to spend time to yourself. You want to be able, that's what we get into this for, to be able to spend time with ourselves, have that freedom to make a choice on what we want to do from one day to the next. And when you work yourself that hard, you lose out on that time. And see, most of us, we are so used to working like that, trained mentally to work that way at a job, until when it comes time for us to be able to work for ourselves on a, without a 9 to 5, we are still imbalanced when it comes to that. We believe that this is how we're supposed to work or we don't make it. Some of you working yourself harder than the 9 to 5 does. And I know for a fact you are, because I was doing the same thing when I started doing this. I worked myself harder than any 9 to 5 I think have worked me in a long time. And I had to realize what I was doing. And it was leading to serious burnout. So now we're talking about health issues. Poor sleep because you're too busy working. A lot of you can contest to this. You work all day trying to get as many inspections done as you can. You're counting the money, but now you got to put in all the paperwork. And tomorrow you got to do it all over again. So what does that mean? That means that you find yourself up all night trying to put in the paperwork, because if you don't, by the end of that week, you have so much work loaded up on you, it's ridiculous. So you're not getting as much sleep. You're not eating when you should. You're not taking out time for your own self, to exercise, to just put in time for you, because you're so busy chasing that mighty dollar. Because don't forget, we are still trading our time for money. That's exactly what you're doing, because if you don't get out and work, you don't make any money. So you are still trading your time for money. So the more time you spend out working, the less time you're going to have for you and your family. When you work yourself like that, the only thing you're doing is leading to serious burnout. Because there was one point when I felt like if I don't slow down and take a break, I am going to get to a point to where I hate even doing inspections at all. I'm just talking to those of you who are starting to feel the burn already. If you're starting to feel the burn, then reevaluate what you're doing. Reevaluate how much work you're doing and how long. You don't want to tell a company, no, I'm not going to do the inspections because I need a break. You don't really want to do that. But what you can do is strategically set your schedule to where you know you're not going to burn yourself out. Go from trying to do 10, 15 inspections a day, knock them down to maybe 8 or 9. Just break them down so that you're not doing so many a day. That way, you can kind of relax at least a little bit. And it all depends on the inspections too. If you're doing inspections, it's taking a lot of time off of your day, a lot of work that you have to do, more and more paperwork based off of the inspection. The inspection is harder, whether it's commercial versus some drive-bys. Then evaluate what all you're doing so that you don't burn yourself out. There are a lot of people who love to say on the constant that field inspections is really hard. It's hard because we make it hard. Don't work yourself to death. Be smart with this. Try to be as smart as you can with this. That way, you can come out on top. You can make the money you're trying to make, and at the same time, be happy, keep your peace, and keep your time. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, turn on notification bell, drop a comment in the comment section, and let me know, have you already started experiencing burnout because you're working so hard as an inspector? Drop a comment in the comment section and let me know. In the meantime, I will see you guys on my next upload. Thank you again for watching.